So when you tell me I went on the internet to find out how to make this boss easier, I look down on you. I'm not even going to try and front. I'm not even going to try and front. I do. It's just facts. I look down on you. I'm like, why have you come and wasted my time? You and I, we are not the same.
Hello, hey everyone, and welcome in. Welcome to Melanin Gamers Podcast. We're back again with our bite-sized podcast, and today we are talking about are games too difficult? I personally think yes, they are. I am here today with Obsidian Fury.
Yes, Sarah, what's going on?
OG Otaku.
Yeah.
And Zen, aka Ronan.
Hey. What's going on?
And we are talking about if games are too difficult. We're talking Dark Souls games. We're talking about Cuphead, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Mega Man 9. They are some very difficult games up there. I want to put Prince of Persia in there. Sifu. But we are going to go to Obsidian Fury, who doesn't think games need an easy, normal, difficult, and are you serious modes. Obsidian Fury, take it away.
Okay, so for my opening statement, yes, I do think that... No,
an opening statement.
Yeah, we're going to do this properly. For my opening statement, because I know I'm going to get flack for this. For my opening statement, I don't think games are getting too difficult. I think, in fact, games is the quite opposite. Games are getting too easy. That is how the rise of Souls-like genre came about in the first place, because for a long time, games, when you were stuck on a game, there was no internet to come and back you up. You just had to get good. That's all there was to it. So there was the skill ceiling to games, and the skill floor was a lot higher back then, and there was a lot less hand-holding in games. So let me break down what I mean. Okay, so in certain games, exploration is key, right? They don't give you everything. They don't give you all the information. You have to go out and find it for yourself. So games like recently, like Tunic, for example, were one of those ones where it's like you have no idea what you're doing, and you just have to like discover the story for yourself. Games like Half-Life, where if you're not paying attention in the cutscene, you have no idea where to go, and that's just how it goes. So there was a greater investment required from the gamer's side to play these games, and I think that over time that has gone easier. If you look at like recent games, like I don't know, some like let's take a random civilian game like Call of Duty, where it's like they give you the objective, you have to go from point A to point B. A lot of the objectives in games have become a lot more simpler for the gamers to follow, rather than actually having time to actually think about what am I doing, why am I doing this, and getting invested in the game. Now, that is then what led to the rise of Souls-like games like Sekiro, like the ones you mentioned, where it's like difficulty was a factor in those games, where it's like random regular enemies could kill you if you weren't moving correctly, and that's how I think it should be. If you want to have a hero, if you want to be the hero, play Fortnite. Be the hero, or if you want to come back from work and you're tired and you just want to game, play Fortnite. Play a simple game. But don't come and then tell me how all games have to have a reduced difficulty. Now, onto the aspect of difficulty, I do think that games, the difficulty meter has gotten worse over time. Back in the day, there used to be different ways of how you would gauge the difficulty of a game, whether it's a puzzle game or an action game. But a lot of the time nowadays, it's more health for the enemy, less health for you. Their guns do more damage, my guns do less damage, and then we go from there. Rather than games like recently, like Helldivers, where you get brand new kinds of enemies. That means you have to employ brand new tactics to try and overcome them, and you need to be actually focused and alert and attentive in the game. That is my short and narrow of it. And I think that one of the main reasons for that is because people who review games, and I include myself in them, some of them don't know how to play some of these games. So some of these developers are forced to reduce the difficulty in these games, where it's like, no, you guys just need to get good. This is a hill I'm willing to die on. Everyone else is wrong. I'm right.
He says, get good.
That's almost my takeaway. Get good, you know.
No, okay. So, but think about it. Remember Division 1?
Wait. You've had your turn, Obsidian Fury. Yeah.
Okay.
Zen, go on. You obviously want to say something.
No, I just wanted to say, like, I actually agree with the fact that no, not about the whole get good. No, not the hard stance. Like, no. But what I was gonna say is that games are getting good, and I'll give you like two examples that are like single player games. Splinter Cell. I'm the biggest Splinter Cell fan. Yeah. Like from when the game came out, love the concept, love the characters, love the development. The first Splinter Cell was one, a very long game, and two, was very hard. You had basic equipment And I remember there were levels in Splinter Cell where you couldn't even raise one alarm. And you couldn't even use a weapon or force against them because you were sneaking into like a CIA base and stuff like that. So you couldn't use lethal force. You had to like knock the person out and come close quarters with multiple cameras looking at you and everything. One alarm, that's it. The whole game was done. Then you fast forward through the progress of the game. It was, as you said, it's kind of like the pole, like you see like a ledge there, it's kind of leading you to the next thing. Sometimes with Splinter Cell, you had to make it up yourself. You had to look around in the dark. Like when you turned off the night vision goggles, it was just a black screen. You had to live with those night vision goggles on. Whereas the later games, there's like a silhouette that's kind of flicking, that catching your eye to say, oh, there's a ledge over there. First one, you were in darkness. You're a Splinter Cell. You live in a darkness. That's where it was based around. And the progression of the game, yes, I love the whole scene, even in terms of his combat. Like, he was able to, like, run up to them and charge them, so it was quicker to, like, defuse them. Before, you had, like, a limited amount of ammo that you could do to knock from a distance. If not, you had to sneak up to the person. You could smell what they had for breakfast. That's like you were that close to breathing.
That needs to be addressed. Why am I doing this? That sounds like the most difficult game ever. For what reason?
Yeah,
I thought
but you see,
have fun.
No. But you see, that's the thing. That's what made it what it was. Like, and this is where I'm gonna say like this. Like, we go after those games because those are the type of people that we are. Like, at the end of the day, I didn't want that. Like, at the end of the day, I wanted a game that gave me that thing of problem solving. And that's what Splinter Cell was. Like, I didn't want it to be easy. Like, there's dogs there. Like, it's meant to be that fear factor. Like, if I lose this, I've got to go right back.
Okay, Zen.
And so, I can't...
So,
okay.
no, just to confirm,
please. Please, you.
No, I was just gonna say so you're with Knight on saying that like the games have gotten too easy, basically.
It's not that they've gotten too easy. Like, I want to make myself clear. It's not that they've gotten too easy. I'm just saying that when it comes to the difficulty in a game, like compared to the past and to now, there's a whole lot more. Like, and it's not just the developing aspect. It's also the internet. It's also with the advent of the internet, where it's like if you're stuck on something, you just go on the internet and find out. I was playing with my friend the other day about Baldur's Gate, and she didn't want to do an adventure. She basically wanted to have the best weapons, the best combat, so she just went online and found the easiest path. And I'm like, to me, that's crazy.
I hear that, because I would say that is, so my stance on our games getting too easy is no. Like, not really. They're not to say games aren't easier and more accessible for people. Yes, there's a reason for that, because, you know, it's become a big media industry and they always want to get new people involved. And like, don't cry about it, because like that reason that you're getting these big bossy games right now is because everyone else who didn't like games before and was like, "Rah, that's too hard. Why are you wasting your life doing that?" is now involved. Yeah. Every time you boot up a game, it comes with what level difficulty do you want to play on. Yeah, if you want to boot up a game and load it in extreme mode on God of War, go ahead. If you want to load normal and just battle some stuff and find out the story, you can do that too. Yeah, games now, I wouldn't say, when it comes to difficulty, I'd say it's more an accessibility thing. It's the choice. Now, you can have games like, so I would say my journey with the whole Soul genre would basically explain, I would feel, most people's. Yeah. I seen Dark Souls when it first came out. I seen my friends play that. I seen them slave away for months on a boss. And I said, that's not for me. That's not fun. What do you mean you're still fighting the boss? I've played 2 games and you're still fighting the same boss. That's ridiculous to me. Yeah. But hear what? Yeah. Elden Ring came out. Now, this is years later. Now we got Elden Ring, right? I'm playing Elden Ring. This game's great. Now, why is this game great? It's still hard. It ain't telling me anything, but I've gotten into it. I want to know more. And you know what I did? I was getting my ass kicked. And I said, whoa, this is a bit hard. But now, you know what I didn't have when Dark Souls first came out, probably like the power of the internet. So did I not go and I said, "Ooh, that's the staff I need, Kamehameha staff, you say? Yeah, let me take that." And I just beeline got the things I want, and I enjoyed that game so much. Yeah. And now, whenever there's new Souls-like games like Lies of P and the Sekiros and other ones. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Whereas before I said that's not for me. Before I said let me try. I've beaten Melania. Yeah, I've thrown down. I can dodge. I can do some things. And now I am someone who's involved with those higher difficulty games. But if there wasn't the accessibility option for me to get into it, I would have just never looked at them. That's not for me.
I would play for free, bro. I'm a snob. So when you tell me I went on the internet to find out how to make this boss easier, I look down on you. I'm not even going to try in front. I'm not even going to try in front. I do. It's just facts. I look down on you. I'm like, why have you come and wasted my time? You and I, we are not the same. You see, you go on the internet.
Life,
what?
Like, I come back from work and I want to have a nice...
Yeah. Let me explain to you why it works. You're right. Let me explain to you why it's why the difficulty matters, because the reward is that much sweeter.
Is it?
When something is it? No, let me explain to you. When it's difficult, like when there's a certain parrying, typically speaking, in a game, the parry system in a game is normally the hardest thing to do. Normally. So when you defend against an attack, you get reduced damage, or there's some kind of concession you have to make, but defending is easier, whereas parrying requires timing. It requires a lot more from the player, and typically speaking, the higher the risk, the better the reward. So when I'm playing Sekiro, at the last aspect, and I'm parrying a 9 hit combo, yes, I feel like a king. I feel like the ultimate ninja. Why? Because it's difficult to do. So when you do it, it's that much rewarding. Now, that's not for everyone, and I can understand that. But I'm not talking about accessibility in that kind of regard. I'm talking about I play the game as it was for difficulty it was intended for. And when you start messing with that aspect of the game, that's when I start getting annoyed. You can play a game.
I enjoyed it.
If Call of Duty was meant to be played on the regular setting, then that's fine. Play on the regular setting. But if it was meant to be played on the veteran setting, and then people come along and say, "Oh, this is too hard," and they make a regular setting, that's when I have an issue, because now you're affecting the DNA of the game. If someone comes along and says that, "Oh, Elden Ring is too hard," do you know what people said? Get good. That is why I respect it. Okay. Look at Division. Remember Division? Remember it was it was a nightmare going into the into the dark zone by yourself.
I was just gonna say that.
Go on. Obsidian Fury, have you not said enough? Go on, Zen.
No, so I was just gonna literally, I was waiting for you to finish, because I was gonna say that, because then that's something that resonates with Anzi too. At the end of the day, he just literally opened that Pandora's box and said exactly what we've been saying. At the end of the day, you mess with there's games for everyone. And there's some games that need to be on a shelf where you need certain type of players to be in that zone. And there's only people that are created from that and centered around it. At the end of the day, not everybody is going to get on Division and sit in the base of operations for half an hour, literally building builds to go on body another build. Or you go and get beaten by another build. I need to now go back to the drawing board so I can come and slay that thing. That's what the Division was. Then what did they do? They went and listened to the general player base, and the game fell apart.
What? That's crazy. That's crazy. So you're saying the developers listened to what the players wanted, and then it went bad?
No.
They made the game easier overall.
Sorry, no. Wait. They didn't listen to everyone. They listened to a certain group of individuals, I think mostly streamers, to be quite honest with you, who wanted to stream something that was easy. Yeah. The main game of the Division, the whole thing can be enjoyed by everyone. The Dark Zone, that is for the 1%. You don't just go in there all willy-nilly. And that's all right. That means everyone can play the game, but only these people who are very good or who have a very good system, who have really grinded the game, can get into the Dark Zone. That's why the Dark Zone was notorious. And I think that's 100%. Okay. There should be different levels. Yeah. So you can still enjoy the game, but if you want to go to the Dark Zone, well, you better prepare yourself then. And I think it's not fair to change the game just so that everyone can get to the Dark Zone. Then what makes the Dark Zone special?
Yeah, no,
And
but that's
but
interesting.
that's what
I
we were
hear that.
saying.
It sounds
But
like
that's what
a case of getting good.
but that's what we were saying. Like at the end of the day, and that's what they marketed it on as well. You can't forget that the launch trailer was about
Right.
betrayal,
Okay.
the deception, and the fact of you need to be on edge. That's what anybody goes back and remembers what the launch trailer was. Your own teammate turned around and bodied her team and took all the loot. They were working together, like, oh yeah,
Sir
we're
Bennington,
brethren
never
from back in
forget.
the day.
Yeah, Sam Bennington.
And at the end of the day, like you needed to be on guard, and that's what the dark zone was. You could not be safe.
But what
It
I'm
was not
hearing
meant to
is
be
that you're
safe.
not saying that the game as a whole should have been
Yes,
just the dark zone.
exactly.
You're saying the dark zone should be a feature within the game that's still accessible to everyone else, right?
Exactly, but then they went and listened to
so in that
everybody else.
case, the games right now are perfect because they allow that
No.
accessibility from.
No. Okay. Let me summarize everyone's point. Obsidian Fury wants the games that are so difficult, no one will game ever again. OG Tackle, you have the opinion that stop right there. That you'll play difficult games, but you'll do a quick Google to beat a boss. You think that games should be accessible to everybody, but there should be within that same game an area or a mode that's for the people who really grinded the game, who really tried, rewarding the players for the time they spent. Because we spent, I don't want to admit how long I spent, 100 hours plus
agree with that
on specific items only. No Google, nothing. We were grinding out. We had a group chat just to grind out the game, and the game rewarded us for that dedication. And I'm not saying, but the Dark Zone was just a part of the division. And I think that is what's important. There should be levels so everyone gets to play. There should be easy, normal, hard, veteran. Everyone gets to play. Not everyone has to play on
bosses in
veteran.
Elden Ring that I couldn't cheese. Like I didn't need to beat them for the air quotes campaign story, but like I still went and switched up my gear and then got good with a dodge or two. But it's because I was already in the building through the accessibility that is the internet to allow me to cheese my way that far into the game. But once I was in there, yeah, bro, my dodge is on point, bro. Watch me, Ultra Instinct with Elden Ring.
I don't mind you going on the internet to find guides and how to get better at the game. What I do mind is when you go on the internet to find how do I beat this boss? What's the easiest way? How do I cheese it? And how do I essentially remove any kind of... So what you're doing is you're not playing the game, you're trying to optimize your experience. So
I hear that, but did they not make uncheesable bosses? Because they really did, and they were there, and I had to figure out a way to fight them the good way, as you would put it.
Exactly.
And I still done it, but that's because I had cheesed 20 bosses that came before. and I ain't...
Heresy!
I ain't going now without the rest of them.
Oh my God.
But you know what? Do you know what? I agree with both of you. But like going back to Division again, even with the internet was a problem because these YouTubers didn't understand the game. The amount of builds, so they kept making it feel like, oh, it's too hard, or this is too powerful. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like you need to have elite people, because there were elite people saying that this build is fine, like it's fine. But then you had the casual consumers, let's just call them that, that were just there, and they were like, oh, this is too powerful. And then what would happen is the game would just what was a good foundation just started to collapse on itself. And then they started to listen to the casual consumers more because they had the influence. And to them, they're like, oh, they're the ones who are just going to buy the game. We want to get them onto the game. And they forgot about the people who would buy your DLC, would grind with you because they're invested in these builds and the game and the thing as a whole. It's not just, oh, this gun looks cool. It's like, I want to know the mechanics. I want to sit there. I've sat there. This sounds interesting. It's not that, oh my days, I just want to like go in there and, I'm just getting... But the Division was like that. You don't do the time, you get bodied. It is that. And it also promoted people to play together because they had... You need to join. You had free chats. There was open things where you could go and join people and do raids together. So you'll see someone who's doing what they need to do. I'm not gonna lie. It also promoted friendships because I met some of the best players that I've. No. But there's that. But like some of the best people that I've met on the game We met because I would body someone and it would be like, how are you bodying me like that? Let me learn your build. And then,
I didn't like the Division. I thought Destiny was better.
Destiny also suffers the same
Throw
problem.
the grenade in the rim. Bye, guys.
Destiny also suffers the same problem. So you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. But to summarize my point isn't that accessibility is good as long as it doesn't take away from the DNA of the game. Then I'm all for it. If you want to play the game on easy mode, like Baldur's Gate, there's a lot of games coming out recently where their difficulty adjustment doesn't make the game harder per se. It makes the game harder per se, but not in a good way. It means that I have to play the game how it's intended to be played at higher levels, right? So I don't mind that. I don't mind you promoting the difficulty promoting the game in that regard. Okay. What I do mind is when people come along and because oftentimes the perception of the game is more important than the actual game itself. So if a lot of people say this is a broken mechanic, even if the mechanic itself isn't actually broken by an objective standard, people are still going to think it's broken, which led to the nerfing of the Dark Zone Division, which led to the nighttime mechanic in Dying Light to be a lot softer in Dying Light 2. Dying Light 1, when you got caught out in the night, it's game over. You're hiding, you're running. You no longer become the king, you're a peasant. Same with a lot of these games that come out recently, where it's that's what led to the rise of the slow genre.
Now, I know you play in Helldivers 2, yeah. Now, I would say that is a good example of a new game that's out that does difficulty well. Yes. When you play the game, as you play, you unlock your you start off on easy, and then the next game you play, you can get medium, and then the next game you play, you can get hard. And if you keep passing it, you'll unlock extreme, challenging, crazy, insane, and all the rest of the modes. You just need to do a mission on that level of heat, basically. However, I have played with Knight and other friends who, when they jumped in, the first time, they just go, let's just play on extreme. Right? And I've gone, whoa, hold on. Now, I'm trying to enjoy my night and not run streaming and getting murked. So do you mind if we break it down to a challenging? Yeah? And we can cut the middle ground, and it works. Yeah? Everyone has a good time. But the fact is, the option is there. We're both playing the same game. I feel like we're both progressing more or less at the same rate, just you're doing it when you play, you're doing it on intense, oh my days, I'm gonna die, where I'm like, ooh, look, a bug.
Trial by fire, we are cleansed in the
okay, all right, okay. We are way over the time with the podcast because Obsidian Fury obviously wants everyone to play Dark Souls games. Now, listen, it's good to have accessibility, but it's also not good to break the mechanics of a game and make something that's amazing and phenomenal, looking at you to the Division, and just ruin it because some people can't get good.
Yeah.
Also, Borderlands. I just want to put Borderlands in there. The last Borderlands, I don't know what they were thinking.
We all have our gripes with gaming. Some games, maybe, arguably, they might be too easy. I love the idea of you being able to choose your own mode, easy, medium, difficult. Or if there's an option, like, for example, the Dark Zone, not everyone has to go in there. There's other missions you can play. But if you want to go in there, you better be careful. And I like that as well. Options is key so that everyone can enjoy themselves at the end of the day. So thanks, guys, for listening very much. Please let us know your thoughts as well on this. I've been here with Obsidian Fury.
What's going on? See you later, gang.
OG Otaku.
Keep it OG, peeps.
And Zen.
Peace out. Take it easy.
And it's been your girl, Creatively Anzi, and this has been Melanin Gamers. Thanks, guys. Bye.